Hi, welcome to the second battle report of the Guilds of the North. And today I'm joined with Antoine.
Hello.
I will be playing my hunters again because I kind of dedicated myself to them until SteamCon, which is coming really fast in December. And Antoine will be playing his faithful butchers.
They're painted.
Yeah, mine are painted too, so it's okay. First off, I need to mention we did play with the guild identity cards, and it was the first revision of the cards. And there were a couple of changes. I took Bait the Trap, which didn't change much between the first iteration and the second one, except it gives now one more health, but doesn't give the VP anymore. What about you, Antoine?
I was using Crushing Force, which, if I remember, was new with that rendition, with that edition of the change. Crushing Force makes the opponent pay one more momentum point to do a counterattack.
Yeah. So let's jump right into the game. So, Antoine, why don't you talk about the lineup you chose for this game?
Okay, that lineup was pretty simple. Ox as a captain, Princess as my mascot, with Shank, Brisket, Boiler, and Boar. That's the original 6, and that's the only models I have painted. So here's the choice.
And I went with Skada, Fahad, Veteran Earn, J-Car, Zarola, and Minx. And now we're going to see our plot cards. I have Match Fixing, Field Dressing, and Good Marker.
I have Men Marking, Who Are You, and Wingback.
And we rolled to kick off. It was a tie again. I sense it's always a tie with me for the first roll, but after that, I won and I elect to receive the ball.
Yes.
And here we are discussing
Some question
the ground
about the terrain.
Yeah, to be sure there's no quiproquo while we play and nobody's frustrated because of the bad description of the obstacles, whether we can stand on them or not.
Mm-hmm.
And you choose to kick with Brisket.
Yes.
And for my receiving, I go a bit close and I try to play Skada to be able to get a ball. And here we can see how each teams are deployed.
That overlay with the name, is that new for this edition?
Yeah, that's a new thing. So if you like it or not, please comment on that and tell us what we can do to improve on the edited version of the battle report, because we have the full stream available on Twitch as well.
So we start. I go with Brisket, which is on the right flank of my side, and I'm kicking right up to the side of the board.
Yeah.
I pass my kick roll, and I did re-roll for the scatter.
Yeah, it was a pretty good kick. The camera is a bit off center this game, so the ball is not visible on that view, but it was really far on my left. It was not in a good position for me to get that ball in.
You had to work to get there.
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm allocating my influence, and we can see both of us are measuring, because I'm really trying to see how I can get to that ball, and can you get to that ball, most importantly. Like, is there a shenanigan like I should be aware so you won't be able to get it?
Which is not the case.
No. So I allocated 6 to Skada, 3 to Veteran Earn, 2 to Zarola, 2 to J-Car, none to Minx and Fahad. What about you, Antoine?
I think it was... I'm still playing with it because I changed it. So 4 to Brisket, 2 to Boiler, 2 to Ox, 1 to Boar, and 3 to Shank.
So I start with Skada, and she did a snowball.
Yep.
and to dodge 4 inches over the piece of wood stump obstacle that was blocking me, and then I was able to sprint to get the ball and try to come back. I sprint, get the ball, and then do a cold snap on Brisket, which succeeds. So she suffered 1 damage and was snared. And then I was scared you would be able to get the ball with some passing or dodges from somebody. And I just passed the ball over into space near Fahad.
Yeah, and you were really lucky with your reroll for the direction.
I succeeded, so instead of being 2-1, I've managed to 4-5, and I was able to snap it to a veteran Ahern.
After that, I simply move up with the princess next to the is that? I'm always drawing a blank. That's an obstacle.
Exactly.
That's a barrier. So I move up right next to the obstacle, and that's it.
After that, I went with Zarola, who advanced and did a midnight offering on J-Car, so he's going to be more positioned favorably for the rest of the turn. And making sure Boar was not able to charge me.
So here is the start of my downfall. I tried to get some momentum early in the turn. So do I go with Shank?
No,
now?
Was Ox.
No, I was calculating for it, but switch to Ox, yeah. So Ox is moving up, did the tough skin on himself, and that's it.
You wanted a bit more further up, but you didn't want J-Car to be able to attack him.
Yeah.
I went with Fahad, free charge into a blank space next to the cover.
And now I go with Shank.
Yeah.
So he's too far, so he positioned to be able to at least get the honor bonus, and combined with where they go and the charge,
well, actually,
do one attack.
I think you used wing back on that charge. That's why you did the where they go.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
You did the where they go to position yourself near the 8 inches, and then you charge because you just remove only 1 influence to do the charge.
That's true.
Doing a bit of damage, gaining momentum. And a second attack on a good old J-Car. You're still engaging me, but I'm not engaging you, though. Go with a free charge with Minx. And because I had 1 less die because of the obstacle, so I managed to do a 2 damage and a dodge. But you did defensive stance, so I was on 5 instead of 4, which made a big difference because of the cover and the 5. And I got to snare you, and I did dodge out back to the shadow next to the barrier, the outhouse.
So next up, it's a boiler. My turns are pretty long in that game. I was kind of rusty, and nothing really worked. So moved up and did the swift stance on Shank.
So more defense back to Shank. And after that, I went with J-Car, who has to move and stay near the cover, because if you did counterattack, I would have 1 less die. And I only do 1 damage and a dodge on that. And I do another attack, which you don't counter, and it's 2 damage. And then I draw the trap, and because I did damage, I'm able to do back to the shadow. and block the path of Boar.
Going now with Brisket.
She was a bit far to try to reach and get the ball back from Veteran Hearn.
Mm-hmm. So she move up a bit and throw knives.
Yeah. Those dirty knives. Well, actually, she was pretty accurate because you managed to do it on Fahad and Skeda, which are both 5 defense. So
yep,
it's pretty good rolling.
Some of the only one in the game.
As we'll see later on. And then afterwards, I only have Veteran Hearn left to activate. So he moves up, do a little skewer, shish kebab on Shank, which goes off, and that's 3 more damage on him. And I do a pass to Zarola to generate some momentum.
Yeah, Boar simply move up.
Without triggering the trap. And that was the end of the first turn.
Yes.
And we can see now the state of the game at the end of the turn.
You won the initiative.
I won the initiative. And I lost a bit of damage with Skeda and Fahad. And I put the free snared on Boiler.
Boiler, yeah.
And for allocation, I had put 4 on Skeda, 2 on Zarola, 3 on Veteran Hearn, and 4 on J-Car.
For me, there's 1 on Shank, 4 on Brisket, 4 on Boiler, 3 on Ox, and 1 on Boar.
So my first activation, I go and charge. J-Car goes and charge in Shank.
Which counterattack?
Yeah. And my attack managed to do 2 damage and a gut and string to cripple him a bit more. But
I'm able to get 3 success on the counterattack and do Vertigo.
Yeah, you dodge out of there to make me waste my 2 last influence. So I just do a Back to the Shadows and go back relatively safe.
Or there was some questioning about clearing the trap or not, and
yeah,
we kept the state as it was instead.
Well, because if you would have removed the trap with your dodge, I could have put it back again right after, so there was no use of sacrificing him.
So I quickly just move up Princess, and that's it for me.
And then I go with free charge from Minx. We measure up with the laser to be sure I have a charging lane. And I'm pretty...
You can see there, before you activate, that the clock did go down a lot for me. I don't even remember why I went in the thing. I think I lost 5 or 6 minutes just to
like
move up the dog. So you'll see the clock go down in steps once in a while during the game. Because up to there, I had a pretty good clock advantage, and I lost it all.
And on the charge, as we saw, there was a takeout. I was able to wrap on Shank and do enough damage to take him out and put me in the lead 2-0.
Yep. So another big time jump. Just another 5 minutes. I don't know why. So move up with Brisket engaging Scala.
Yeah.
So charge attack did 3 success, which was pretty good because you did use, what was it? Defensive sense.
Yeah.
So I was lucky on that row. Did some damage twice, and that's back to you.
At that, I move Zarada to do a Midnight Offering on J-Car because I didn't want him to get charged by Boar. I drop the ball to Fahad, and then I do a linked activation with Fahad to free charge Brisket. She dodges away with unpredictable movement, and since I'm not engaged anymore, I'm able to drop the ball to Skada.
Yep.
Yeah, I had to dodge J-Car because Ox was too close to him, and he would have just killed him with a legendary.
So now I go with Boiler. I place to be able to do a mark target to give me some range once I did the attack. And I completely fluff my roll with the charge. Even that was 9 die, no successes. With the second attack,
horrible
I
rolling.
still fluff again, and no successes again. So
that was
a poor showing for the boy.
Yeah, it was really bad. The dice weren't with you at all on that. I mean, not getting a single 5 on 14 dices or something like that.
Yeah.
Here I'm trying to move with Veteran Hearn, trying to see if I can skewer you. And I realize that even though if I can skewer you,
I would still be able to reach you.
Yeah, you would be in reach, and you would just murder him because that's what Ox does, murder. Here I move Skada, and since I take advantage of the fact that you did use the unpredictable movement earlier on,
yep.
So I was able to get some attack, and she was not distracted by the beautiful boobs of Brisket, because she has a charm male and Skada is a female, so I was able to move there, and I did a momentous double dodge to try to move closer to the goal, but still being at 6 inches from Fahad, the goal was there to do a snowball and dodge even further, but since Fahad was engaged, I needed a 5, which I didn't get, so that ended my activation. And then you go on a murdering spree with Ox, I think.
I go with Ox, but I don't remember doing a murdering spree though.
While thinking about it.
He just tried to place himself because I couldn't reach. So yeah. I placed badly because if I moved up just a bit more, I think I would have been able to clear the trap and be in cover, which probably, I am not right now.
And you did a mark target or something on Minx?
Well, I had nothing left to do, so I think I just removed your 1 point of armor or something like that.
True.
Just to pass my influence.
So I go up with Veteran Hearn, and he charges Ox, and I was able to do a wrap because of the snare. So I do a skewered on Boar, and because you're snared, I'm able to jump over him, and because of his ability, and by another attack on Boar, and I do a momentous knockdown on Boar, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, with my last attack.
So Boar sacrifices movement, get up, and start hitting on Earn. Did some damage, some momentum, and triggered Berserk once.
I mean, it was around like 5 damage, something like that.
It was probably 4 or 5.
The second attack was less damaging.
Yeah, and I was engaged, so no free charge, so only 2 attacks.
And I got to win the initiative again.
Yep.
And this one was close, but still bad rolling on your part. So I go with a classic of 4 on J-Car, 4 on Skada, 3 on Veteran Hearn, 2 on Zarola, and none on my free charging models. Because they're self-sufficient, I guess. The free snared was... I think I forgot to put it on this turn.
Oh, that's possible. So in my case, I bring back Shank next to the goal and trying to put him at least a bit in the way for Skada if she wanted to try to score. Put 2 on Brisket, 3 on Ox, 1 on Princess, 2 on Boiler, and 1 on Boar, and 2 on Shank. So spread out.
I start with Veteran Hearn, who does another momentous knockdown on Boar. Here you're wondering if you're doing a counter attack or not because of the teleport shenanigan, whether I can do it every attack or just once per turn, but it's as soon as I do damage. So you decide to do nothing.
No, I did the counter attack and
I did the moment. Me. Okay. Yeah. And then another attack and another momentous knockdown, but this time on Ox. And then last attack, I just do 1 damage, but I'm able to teleport. And since he's knocked down, and then I do my regular 4-inch move and try to stay safe, relatively, if something possible.
Yeah.
And finally, I do last light on Zarola, should she need to burn the momentum to do a character play.
On my turn, I don't know why I didn't go with Ox. I should have gone with Ox. Instead of go with Princess, I go and engage Skada and do some damage by attacking. Move to try to stop her goal.
You were trying to stop the goal.
Yeah, but Ox was in bad shape. I wasn't able to prevent the goal. I should have gone with Ox instead.
Yeah, in retrospect. So I'm checking what I can do and how I should do stuff with Skada to do the goal. I do a snowball to Fahad, and I succeed. Even though I was at 3 dice and needing 5, this time I was able to do it, which means I'm able to dodge and disengage myself from Princess, and then with my my snow ground, I'm able to sprint and shoot on goal. But I was in tap in range, so I was able to score. I don't use my momentum to dodge out, and you played. Who are ya?
Yep.
So she's pretty vulnerable, even though she's 5-0. She feels lonely because there's Shank, Ox, and Boar who are partially able to get her. There you don't get a good scatter roll at all.
Yeah. To goes far wide on the side of the board.
For the throw back in.
So looking at my option, losing another 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, you're wondering what to do with Ox, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, if I should go with Ox or try to do something with Skada, but I couldn't reach, so instead I go with Shank. I'm able to charge him or place him at least in range of owner.
I
did charge.
It was a charge because I used my momentum to do a defensive stance.
Yeah, and I had some incredibly bad roll once again. I have 10 dice, no successes. So I'm able to do some damage just because I used the vengeance token. So those were the 4 hits I had because the 10 die I roll were all misses.
As we can see on the right, no 6s at all. So you were able to generate momentum from that and get rid of Who Are You. And then I go with J-Car, who charges Ox. So it's a 2-0 target because he's snared and knocked down. With 10 dice, I was able to do a bit of Rhapsody over there. And I was able to do a 2 damage gut and string and a momentous 4 damage. So now I get 2 more dice because you're down to 0 armor, and I buy another attack which result in another momentous 4 damage. Then I do a momentous 2 and a momentous 2 damage for
which is enough to take
him out. I do a dodge. I place the trap again, just if you decide to clear the condition and charge with him. And then I'm able to dodge away back again with back to the shadow. There you go with Boiler. He cannot reach Skata, so
he can't do much, really.
Well, he tries to get rid of Fahad.
He did. I think he did nothing.
I think he did some stuff, but I was left on 1 HP or some. Oh, you did take him out.
Oh,
see?
Okay, yeah, I did. Okay, that's true.
So
it's the previous turn that nothing happened.
Yeah. And then you're able to move and engage Veteran Hearn. I go with Zarola, and I decide to go and get cocky, so she sprints. Use Last Light to do Midnight Offering on herself, and that way she's able to take advantage of the fast ground and get the ball really there on the side. Then you go with Boar.
Yep.
You remove the condition, take back the trap. And he charged, I think it's Veteran, right?
Yeah, I charged Veteran. That's why I moved Boiler. So he gets the bonus at least. It cancels the cover bonus.
Yeah, exactly.
With the gang up. So it's a charge from Boar, so it still did some damage, but my second attack I had 1 success.
Yeah, hitting on 3-1. I mean, those dice were really horrible. Then the second attack was on, and I think it's still on. No, I think you decide to attack J-Car on those second attack. Not too sure.
No, I think it was still Earn. But okay. 2 of my 4 attacks, I rolled 1 or 2 successes only.
Yeah, so it didn't help
on
at all.
Trees, yeah.
So I go with Minx, free charges Boar, and I managed to wrap a lot. And because he's 2-0 because of the snare. Yep. And I had +1, -1 because of Earn. So I'm able to do a momentous 3 double dodge and a momentous 2 dodge. So that's 3 inches of dodge there, plus another 4 inches with back to the shadow. She's so fast with all of that. There you go with only Brisket is left. And
so I'm thinking about my options, wondering what I can do. There's nothing really good, so in the end, I move up and throw some knives.
At Hearn.
Earn, yeah.
Veteran Hearn. So here we see the state of the game. I lose a couple of hit point to that poison to Earn and Skata, and we roll for initiative.
And
which
this turn, now that I had been able to do some damage, I won the initiative. So Ox is back. Goes right next to the goal and next to Skata.
And I
start applying momentum. Influence.
And I didn't forget about the snared, and I put Shank snared that turn. Mm-hmm. We don't see Zarola, but
I have 3 on Ox, 3 on Shank, 1 on Brisket, 3 on Border, 1 on Ox, and 1 on Princess.
And I bring back Fahad. Fahad had 2 on Zarola, 1 on Minx, 1 on Skata, just in case, 4 on J-Car, and 3 on Veteran Hearn.
Yeah. So now I'm down to no time. We didn't change the clock, so I'm going with Boar, fast rolling. You take out Earn, and continue attacking on what's his name? J-Car. Did some damage, and then stop there.
I got 1 point from the clock, and then I go with J-Car. who's attacking Earn, I place my trap next to Boiler. I think you did do a counter attack, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm able to do a.
Yeah, I do the counter attack now.
Yeah.
Roll some damage.
I do another attack. And then I'm able to do 2 damage and a double dodge. So I'm able to engage Boiler. And my last attack is on Boiler. And I just do a non-momentous cut and string. So to try to stop him there. And I get back to the shadow.
So next activation, I give you I go with Ox, and he dish out on Skada.
I think you did do the legendary that turn.
Yeah, I think so.
So she was an easy prey. And you take her out, and I do another point with the clock.
So the count is not right. I should be at 5 now. It's nothing big.
I free charge Shank with Minx. Able to generate a bit of momentum. I dodge just in base contact with him, so you won't be able. If
counter
you
attack for some damage.
Yeah, and then I'm able to do another attack to generate more momentum, and then dodges with out of the back to the shadow. There you tried to move Ox again, but you forgot he had already moved.
Yeah, I left the influence next to him, so that's why I was mistaken. So Shank goes and avenge himself from the attack Minx just did and take her out.
Yeah, and I did do another point with the clock, and then we don't see it, but I go with Zarola. She moves, and then she's able to do I think it's either a sprint or Midnight Offering. She moves Midnight Offering, and I bonus time 3 dice to score, and I win 12-7.
Yep.
So it was a weird game because your dice weren't with you at all.
Yeah, and I lost so much time for nothing, which in the end made me just try to do some points and forget the ball. So forgetting the ball, I let you have a goal run with the Zarola.
Yeah, you had some pretty long activation. Like I think it was one was around 7 minutes for one activation, and another one was 5 or 6 minutes. So that's 2 activation taking almost a quarter of your game time. So that hurt you a lot, I think.
Yeah, people won't see that because we do we did cut them.
Oh yes, a bit of editing
the big
magic.
Blank. But yeah, it was a rough game. I hadn't played with a timer for a while. And I just started bad. I should have waited instead of throwing Shank in front and tried to consolidate without momentum. I just not have momentum at all. So,
but in retrospect,
I made a lot of mistakes.
Your card did influence the game though, because I didn't do a single counterattack the entire game.
Yeah, Crushing Force was useful. Yeah,
because I didn't want to use 2 momentum to do a counter charge, especially
or when it was possible. Sometimes you just didn't add the second one.
Yeah, exactly. There was a couple of times exactly you did. I wanted to do it, and you kindly reminded me, no, you need 2. I said, oh no. So yeah, it was useful, but at the cost of only healing 2 against my team, it wasn't too bad because.
But in this game, I didn't have enough momentum because the 3 first turn you had initiative, you were able to place your guy. I did almost no attacks. So I was always on the back foot for the momentum. So I would not have been able to heal myself anyway because I didn't have enough.
Yeah, true
for
enough.
that. It was never a question of, should I heal myself, even if it's only 2? No, I just didn't have the momentum to heal.
It was just preserving momentum, trying to catch up, and
yeah, keeping some to clear momentum to be able to charge or
clear those snare.
Yeah, get my movement back.
So, well, thanks for the game, Antoine.
Thanks for the game, Steve.
I managed to out-butcher the butcher, I guess.
You finally won against your butcher.
Yeah,
is it the first time with your hunters?
Actually, it's my first game ever I win against you, so I'll take it.
And first on video for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll take it, and I won't rub it too much in your face, but I'm glad I finally won against you after 20-something games we played against each other. If not, that's not more since we started playing Guild Ball.
Something around there.
Yeah, so I'm glad I finally made it. So thanks again, and we'll have a rematch for sure sometime.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Bye, geeks. 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 Geeks.